So it was game 6 at New Orleans, series tied 3-2 with the Phoenix Suns, and the way the game was shaping up to be, even with the return of Devin Booker, it was looking like we might have had to go back to a game 7 back at Phoenix. Well, until Chris Paul decided to go absolutely bonkers and decided to go unconscious and not miss a single shot in the entire game to close out the Pelicans. Chris Paul finished the game with 33 points, 8 assists, shot 100% from the field, 100% from 3, and get this, had a 104.7% true shooting. Let me remind you guys, Chris Paul turns 37 years of age next week, and he's still having dominant performances like this, like he's still smack dab in his prime. That's unreal. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down to you guys how Chris Paul was able to completely take over this playoff game. So make sure you guys like the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to keep you guys posted, and let's get right into it. So for the first play, Chris Paul does a classic pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton, and as you can see, Valanciunas is just completely backing up and makes a vital mistake, giving Chris Paul that deadly mid-range shot that he's developed over the years and easily cashes it in. And if you've been watching the Phoenix Suns all year, you would know that this pick and roll that he does with DeAndre Ayton is one of the deadliest plays that the Phoenix Suns can employ, since it's one of the hardest things to guard, since when you have a good big man like Ayton who can roll to the basket like he can, and you also have Chris Paul, who's just one of the best mid-range shooters and decision makers we've ever seen in NBA history, it's very tough to stop. On this play, you can see Crowder giving Chris Paul a high screen, and he's just looking for his sweet spot, and then he eventually pulls back to shoot his mid-range jumper. And then here, you can see Devin Booker do a pin down for Ayton to come down. The Pelicans teammates don't make proper communications, and Chris Paul throws a beauty of a pass at Ayton for an easy dunk. Here, you can also see Alvarado full court pressing Chris Paul up the court, and Bismack continues to keep re-screening for Chris Paul to give him some daylight. He finally gets it, and once again Larry Nance makes the mistake for not stepping up, and Chris Paul knocks an easy mid-range shot again. Also, let me make this clear, Chris Paul wasn't strictly just killing them from the mid-range. The threat of him shooting the mid-range shot absolutely had the Pelicans defense in a kerfuffle. Here you can see Valanciunas actually steps up a little bit, and with him stepping up, you can see Ayton can easily roll to the basket, but BI actually has to recover, since that would just be an easy 2 points. And if Chris Paul really wanted to, he could have just threw an easy skip pass to Cameron Johnson in the corner, but he decides to throw it right back to Crowder on the top of the key, and Crowder decides not to actually settle and attack the basket and gets a floater and one. Saying Chris Paul mastered the pick and roll is actually an understatement, because I would argue Chris Paul is the guru of the pick and roll. Here, Chris Paul again gets another pick and roll, and here Herb Jones decides to go over the screen and still gets a pretty good contest on Chris Paul's mid-range jump shot, but it doesn't matter because Chris Paul this game was on God mode. On this play, Chris Paul gets another screen from Ayton, and CJ decides to go over the screen, but as you can see, Valanciunas is in drop coverage again, and here Chris Paul is just looking for his sweet spot, and it doesn't matter the contest that CJ does, because Chris Paul is just going to rise over him and shoot it like there's nothing there. And then here he gets another screen, but he decides to reset, gets another screen from Ayton, and decides to shoot a sidestep 3 instead of going for a mid-range, and his shot is just cash money. And it really didn't matter what defense that the Pelicans decided to put in place, because this is just one of those takeover games Chris Paul was going to have, and there's just nothing you can do.
Try to imagine him in his underwear. Oh no, he's high!
This play, it's the end of the third quarter, but Chris Paul decides to pass it to Mikal Bridges, and Mikal Bridges passes it right back to Chris Paul, and Mikal does a really smart play by slipping, and then Chris Paul passes it to him, and he gets a ridiculous acrobatic layup for the 2 points. And in this series, Alvarado has played one of the best defenses I've ever seen somebody do to Chris Paul, making him get 2 8-second violations in this series, and even rip Chris Paul with his signature move. But for this play, his defense didn't matter, because Chris Paul gets another screen from Ayton, and as he's coming downhill to the free throw line, Alvarado is completely lagging behind the play, and Chris Paul shoots for his 25th point of the game. In addition, as a wise man once said, there's death, there's taxes, and there's Chris Paul getting to his spot for an easy mid-range shot. Here, you can see him operating off the ball, but as soon as he catches the ball, he immediately starts to attack Alvarado, and he tries to swipe behind the ball, but Chris Paul does a smart pass fake here and gets a floater off for another 2 points. And this was a play that really showed me that I was watching one of the most historic games in NBA history. Chris Paul does a pick and roll again with Alvarado lagging behind the play. He tries to make a play to swipe at the ball, but Chris Paul pump fakes, then looks like he's about to shoot it, but instead in midair throws an alley-oop to Ayton and he dunks it for another 2 points in the clutch. And on Chris Paul's final points, Chris Paul has an ISO with CJ McCollum on the top of the key, does a quick in and out, stops, and then shoots another mid-range shot to essentially ice the game. Chris Paul, from his scoring to his unreal playmaking, absolutely dominated this game, and thankfully to him, the Phoenix Suns will now be advancing to the semifinals. So that's all I have for you guys today. So let me know if you guys like this format of a video. Since it's the playoffs, I was going to add a new element to my YouTube channel with these single game breakdowns, and if you guys enjoyed them, make sure you guys to give me your feedback in the comment section below so I can just keep making more of these. And for now, make sure you guys like the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to keep you guys posted, and your boy Dream Hoops is out, man. Peace.